Well, bidding you a warm welcome to the WSB-sponsored Weighted to Win as we look ahead to local racing here on the High Veld. We're going to the Vaal, where we have a 9-race program on the classic track, which means the bipod starts in race number 2. And let's get straight to that betting. And it's number 1, Gala King, first run for the Cox Stable, Callum Murray, and of course those from Minnesota, Mr. Jason Moragasa. Those are the top of the boards in what is going to be at the start of a very competitive card at this afternoon. So that is Gala King. Last saw a racetrack. In fact, there's never run on the High Veld, but that is over 200 days ago and is at 11 to 5. Right, a man who's going to the onerous task of taking us through a very, very competitive card is Daryl Marie. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to your input with keen interest as per usual. And let's get straight to that bipod race too.
Morning, Seth. Great to work alongside you once again.
Thank you so much.
Yes, we're going to go have a look at the Bachelorette's debut when running second to Queen Layla. That's going to be on screen shortly. And you can see in this run, her debut effort, she actually loomed up and she looked to be the winner.
I looked at that replay as well.
It was very impressive. Subsequently, she disappointed, but there's reason for that.
Keegan Namela retains the ride, which is always a good sign. Comes back off that 91-day rest. And you were just talking about this rerun.
Yes, so there she is with the red sleeves in the Verner's Family Silks. And at this stage, you'd say she's a winner on debut. And then, for some reason, she failed to finish that race off, and Queen Layla came back and headed her on the line. Funny enough, I haven't included her in the opening leg of the bar pots. Take note, there's an equipment change.
Yes.
The tongue tie gets fitted.
Yes.
And you can see in the computer form, in her second start, she choked up. So one can put a line through that. I'm bankering number 1, says. Another thing about the Bachelorette.
Yes.
She was meant to run a week or 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
In the very same race as Autograph contested.
By the way, there's also equipment change about the Autograph, huh? The cheek pieces.
Okay.
Oh, the Connell collar.
Yes, that's correct. And the Bachelorette was scratched with the reason being off feed. You can see on screen now my banker is number 1, Gala King. And one could argue the fact that this is the bottom end of his range, but he's going to race fresh, and I think he'll get away with it. You know, we've seen maidens from the Western Cape coming up here on the High Veld and not only win one, but win a few races in succession with moderate form lines. This son of Vercingetorix has got strong form lines behind his name. So I'm actually going into this leg confident with a banker in number 1, Gala King.
Yes, did look at the sun with the form lines that it brings in, and certainly very awesome stuff. 60 Rand is the outlay. We've got another banker, and that comes up in race number 4. That'll be leg 3. But for now, that is race number 2 off at 12:45. A maiden plate over the 1,000 meters, and of course the racing all paying tribute to recent Equus Awards winners. And in race 2, it's Chase Liebenberg, a great photographer, and his photography really does racing proud. Moving on from the first leg of the bipod, we'll move on to the first leg of the PA race number 3, and this is an Equus champion of broadcast media. Chad Carstens maiden plate over the 1,600 meters. Let's have a look at the betting for what is a very competitive start to that PA. 2-1 is number 1, a Royale Jacket, and then we've got the 4 Midnight Show, third run after gelding. 23-10. Number 3, Echo of the Wild, is at 11-4. It is 15-2. And better bar those. Right, Daryl, race number 3, yes, a field of 9 runners carded, but doesn't diminish the competitive nature once you look beyond the 2 runners that you're obviously going to talk about.
Yes, I've just gone with the top 2 in my perms, but I just want to add that the race certainly doesn't end there. Like you touched on, there's a good few in here with chances, very small but competitive. We are going to go take a look at 2 replays in race 3, and that's of number 1, Royal Jacket, and number 4, Midnight Show. So we're starting off with Royal Jacket. You can see last time out he was the head of affairs, and he actually fought on this occasion. It looked like he might be in trouble over here for a place because others looked like they were finishing better, but he fought on doggedly, and he ended up running second behind a horse that was making his debut up here on the High Veld from the Western Cape. So fair enough effort on that occasion. Here's Midnight Show, switching towards the inside. And take a look who's towards the outside. right on the outside in the Werner's Family Silks, and that's Duke of Lorraine. He's the winner from this form line. He's now peaking his Midnight Show, and I was happy with this effort because it was his first run after a layoff, and he finished the race off extremely well on that occasion. So the way I read this race is it's a little bit topsy-turvy because these horses have met each other a few times. But if you have a look at that run beyond No More, Midnight Show had Duke of Lorraine behind him. And then you go to Echo of the Wild and you have a look at his penultimate starts. He was well beaten by Duke of Lorraine. And then you have a look at that run behind Silver Comet, and there's nothing separating Royal Jacket and Echo of the Wild. So if you're using Duke of Lorraine as a line horse, you may well be favoring Midnight Show, who I believe disappointed in his second run after rest, and I'm hoping that's due to the fact that he ran flat. So in a very competitive lineup, I'm favoring number 4, Midnight Show, is the likely winner. I'd have backed him up with Royal Jacket, who's overdue for a win now. He gets the services of leading rider Keegan DeMello. Cracks a kind of draw. He's fit. He's probably going to take it up, and he can obviously win. I mean, he's knocking loudly at the door. So 1 and 4 in the opening leg of the place accumulator. But like I said, the race doesn't stop there.
Race doesn't stop there, and it's at 360 Rand. The outland, of course, nothing forbids you from taking a percentage, but 1 and 4 in an ideal world that should see us through, if not one, both of them, and double up in that first leg of the PA. That is race 3, off at 20 past 1. Okay, so race number 4 is in honor of the Equus Special Achievement Award, and that is Vaughan Marshall Maiden Plate over the 1600 meters. And let's have a look at who tops the boards in another competitive heat. It is number 1, Elisa Mbali. This will be a 4th run on the high felt. That's Heather Adamson and Marco van Rensburg. And they've done a great job with Elisa Mbali. And we should see another forward run. So that is going to be one of our horses we discuss. And we also have Empress of Peace, who is up there in the betting. And that is Ty Zaki and Calvin Abib. But let's hand over to Mr. Marie. And we're going to hear more about this 10-runner field that sees the start of the pick 6. And yes, you're talking about ex-Cape Town horses who come and make an impression. And I see the form lines aren't the weakest for Lisa Mbali.
Yeah, not bad. She's done well up here on the high felt. Now we're going to go have a look at her effort when running second behind One State. This is an important replay because it covers quite a few runners, including One State, who runs on later in the card. So here's Lisa Mbali, and take note, Sword of Light is in the orange silks towards the outside, and in Lisa Mbali holds her on this run, but there's a turnaround in the draws, and this was Sword of Light's second run after rest. The replay we're going to have a look at now says is Empress of Peace, right on the outside in the pink silks. And the winner on this occasion, or the winner from this form line, is the horse just second from the right in the pink sleeves, and that is Future Red. Yeah, she won nicely in open company in her second start up here on the half out for Tony Peter. So the way I read this race is Sword of Light. If you looked at that replay, she's a big daughter of William Longsword, and I think Lucky has brought her on very slowly since her rest. You can see she needed a comeback effort, then she was staying on nicely in her second run after rest. Now she's peaking and she's got a great draw, and I think Craig Zaki's going to make use of the draw now because she's super fit. So I've got a inkling that she's going to be able to reverse the form with Elisa Mbali. Now you'll see my perm, it's quite costly as it stands in 1,800 Rand. And I've taken a chance in bankering in the opening leg. If I didn't bank assess, I'd have to include Elisa Mbali, I'd have to include Empress of Peace and possibly Northern European, who are all in great form. However, Sword of Light is much more likely raced. And the way I see the race panning out, I believe she's going to be up on the pace. And I think we'll certainly get our run for our money If you're not willing to bank her, as I am, please include several. So banker number 2, Sword of Light in the opening leg of the pick 6.
Thank you very much, Mr. Marie. It is banker the 2. That's in the colors of Mr. David Shaw. That's Sword of Light having a 5th career outing. The outlay 1,800 Rand. And that's an off time to race 4 of 13.55 over the 1,600 meters. It is going to be a quite competitive afternoon ahead. I guess it'll fulfill all the withdrawal symptoms that we've suffered over the last couple of days with no local racing. But we're back, and we're back in full swing. And also encouraging, Craig Zaki is back on the winning trail. Merit weighted 66 handicap, but one can take the chance and say that there are 1 or 2 upwardly mobile types in this race, and some in their places. Let's have a look at what the betting is suggesting, and that is that Bay Empire will make it 3 on the bounce. Kabelo Masinyana, who is certainly in a very, very good form with Tony Peter, and that is going to be bidding for win number 4 from 24 outings, is this 5-year-old son of Fire Away. Right, as far as the market rival is concerned, the winner last time out as well, 8 hats, back to winning ways. That is at 18-5, that's number 4. The 3 is also not without a chance, as the 5, they're both at 9-2. That is Mensch and the Mightiest both at 9-2, 13-2, and a better bar those. And it gives me great pleasure to say I hand over to Daryl to dissect this race for us, because it is another one, but it is going to make for good viewing as well.
Yeah, this is another very competitive race, and you know, you open the book and you'll say the Mightiest is probably weighted to win. But we're going to go have a look at Bay Empire's latest victory when beating Spy Story. And on this occasion, you'll see Kabelo rode him with a lot of confidence, and I think that's just boosted him now. He just rode him with hands, and he won with a bit in hand. Right down the inside is the money horse in the orange with the black zip code. He's come out to win from that formula. Yes. And you'll see he won with a bit in hand towards the end. Kabelo didn't ask much, and I actually believe the penalty he receives lenient, whereas this filly got a hefty penalty when kept quickening up best towards the inside, and that's 8 hats in the black and the white. Miss Sarah Clark Silks.
Yes.
And she won impressively on this occasion. The handicapper was impressed because he gave her a 7-pound or 3.5 kilogram penalty, and now she takes on the boys. So I've taken my chances, and I haven't included her. She's in great form. I actually believe she's better when ridden cold and settled off the pace. So if you want to go wider, you have to include her. You have to include Mensch. You have to include the Mightiest. So I've just included my top 2, and that's Bay Empire, who I think the penny's finally dropped. Tony's figured him out in some way, and like I said, that 2.5 kg penalty I don't believe is harsh. I actually believe it's on the lenient side on what we saw there. So number 2 goes in, and I've included number 6 One States, and let's see how that form line's worked out prior, because there's runners from there. But this son of One World, I believe the penny's dropped with him. You know, Tony put him away. Look at his 2 runs since being rested. His 2 comeback runs. Just got touched off. Then he won last time out. And now he's having his handicap debut from a 1 draw, super fit. He's my backup, number 6, One State. But like I said, the Mightiest, go back to her last run and you'll see she's as much as 4 kgs better off with Bay Empire for half a length beating. So on paper, she's going to reverse it. But yes, we have to take our chances. We can't put the entire field 2 and 6 in the opening leg of the jackpot.
Right, so that's an outlay of 300 Rand, and of course the old adage that familiarity breeds contempt. In the case of Muzi Yeni and TKP Racing, it actually works on the reverse. It is a familiarity has proved to be a winning one. Muzi retained to ride all the TKP horses, and he certainly is producing the goods. He'll be retaining the ride on One State, 1 or 2 horses in that first leg of the jackpot. All right, let's get to race number 6. And you're a jackpot lover. Well, this is a second chance and the final chance to get involved in a jackpot. It is a merit rated 88 in honor of Equus champion broodmare, Palace of Dreams. And of course, that came to fruition at the 2-year-old sales recently. One of the top lots out of Vercingetorix, 1600 meters. Right, the one, Sky Pilot, is your favorite at 11-4. Number 4, Prince of Kildare, 7-2. Number 6, Spirit of Gabs, 4-1, 11-2. About number 2 after hours. Now, those last two mentioned runners are the subject of Mr. Marie's thoughts on race number 6. Let's cross over and hear what you got to say.
Yeah, so the interesting form line over here is when After Hours ran second behind Winding Power. So that's the one we're going to point out to the viewers on this occasion. Yeah, you can see in this replay, when running second behind Winding Power, I don't think Gavin was happy with his position shortly after the start on Sky Pilot. Yeah, After Hours is right down towards the inside, and Sky Pilot is in the yellow, the Hollywood Racing Silks, and No More is towards the outside. And I actually haven't included No More. I should have, but I just believe he's held on this run because in my mind, Sky Pilot's better than that effort. Yeah, Spirits of Gabs when getting the better of It's Now or Never up the center of the track. And you know, the son of Chimichurri Run seems to be so gutsy, and he just seems to do enough in his races. So he may still be ahead of the handicapper. You can see they're pulling well clear of the balance of the field. He's super fit. He likes to go up handy. He's going to put himself in the race, and he's got every opportunity of making it a hat-trick of wins. I just want to go back to Sky Pilot. Like I said, I don't think Gavin was happy after the first furlong in that race. He found a bit of interference, and he wanted to hold his draw. And I believe the son of Give Me the Green Lights is better coming out soft. So I actually prefer him from a wider draw. Gavin just can keep his options open. And if he relaxes, I'm of the opinion he's going to reverse the form with After Hours and confirm the form with No More. So Sky Pilot is my top choice.
Sky Pilot, huh?
Yes, then you've got Mount Darwin. Look at his form on the classic track. I mean, he loves it here. 3 goes for 2 wins and a second. He did disappoint last time out, but Mr. Pettigrew has brought him back in trip. And take note, there's an equipment change.
Blinkers are
The
on.
blinkers are on. And that could work a treat. You know, with these older horses, you just need to tweak something and it can get an extra length or 2 out of them. And he'll enjoy the pace being on. So I think he's a bit overpriced. Satra Graha's found form. So is Prince of Kildare. So this is a tricky race. So has After Hours. I should have included no More, but then I'd have to include Rock My Boat and go the entire field. And look at the cost of that perm. I mean, it's a nightmare from race 6 onwards, says.
All right, so if you can go the field, go the field, but Daryl is trying to cut costs, so to speak. Please take note that the 5 Force Publique is a scratching, so that is Force Publique. The 5 was scratched sometime earlier on in the week. That'll be race 6, as mentioned, the first leg of the final jackpot of the afternoon, and you've got to be on by 3:05. Equus Champion Stallion and Champion Stallion at the recent 2-year-old sales, Vercingetorix. It's the fillies and mares are 90, divided handicap, and they're going over the 1450. Let's have a look at the betting now. It is Trip of Faith, who certainly seems to be on an upward curve, who is at 21-10. That is a 3. Lady Elliott at the bottom of the weight set, the 9. Is next best at 11-4, 4-1. Number 1 American Beauty Fish Hawk is at 5-1, 17-2. Number 6 Fair Proposal 11-1, and Better Bar Those. Lady Elliott has certainly kept on going. Still pretty lightly raced as a 6-year-old. 25 runs.
Well, and she's finishing close up in her recent efforts, and she's holding her form. So I'd like to see her get it right soon. As a 6-year-old mare. But the first replay we're going to go watch is when American Beauty ran second to Merryweather. And on this occasion, you can see Fire in Her Soul is also in this lineup. And American Beauties with the banging form silks over there, the pink sleeves with the white and the yellow and the black up the middle of towards the outside of the track. And Fire No Soul is right down towards the inside with the yellow and the pink cap. And on this occasion, well, tomorrow being tomorrow, there's 2 kilograms swing around in the weights. Here's Muzi on Trip to Faith, going start to finish and winning very, very impressively. Did pick up quite a hefty penalty in 3.5 kilograms, but the form lines worked out well because the second and the third place fillies have both come out to win their next starts, being Sakura Hanami, who beat Trompe-l'Oeil, who came out and won, and Concordia, who came out and won. This filly trained by Robin Claassen, she has had a tendency to do a bit too much in her races in the past. So let's hope now that she's been stepped back up to 1450, she does settle. I think that's key for her because if she does find herself traveling a bit too hard in the early stages, she might empty out. But I'm sure Muzi is going to put her in the race early and try settle her at the same time. American Beauty, she's in cracking form at the moment. Last time out, we saw that replay when running second to Merriweather. Now she's super fit. She puts herself in the race early. She goes handy, so things could work out well for her. And Fire No Soul back at the Vaal, 2 kilograms better off with American Beauty. That brings her into contention. You can see her ratings slowly come down to an 86. A neat draw. I think she's got a possibility of finishing closer to American Beauty this time round. Then look at Fishhawk. She's going to reverse it with American Beauty at the weights. And Lady Elliot, who's in cracking form, 52 to shoulder with Phyllis Sunday. It just gets very, very tricky. But you can see in the opening leg of race 7's double, I've gone with numbers 1, 2, and 9. And then a few in the second leg. But Cess, like I touched on, this card is very, very competitive. Look at that run by Fishhawk behind somebody when finishing behind American Beauty. Look at the turnaround in the weights. She goes down 2.5 kilograms. American Beauty goes up 1.5. So that's 4 kilograms. On paper, she's going to finish alongside American Beauty. Very, very competitive.
Very competitive. 1, 2, and a 9 by 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10. We'll dissect those 5 numbers for leg 2 in a short while. That's your double starting in race number 7. A fillies and mares 90, and it's over the 1450. You're watching Weighted to Win. Looking ahead to Thursday racing on the classic track of the Vaal. Proudly brought to you by World Sports Betting. And we go to race number 8. We drop in class here. Fillies and mares 7-4 divided handicap. It is the Equus champion breeder, Wilgebos Drift and Morris Fontaine. Well done to them. And it's over the 1450 once again. A Light in the Woods is yet another one of the TKP Racing Silks. That is going to be your favorite. Muzieni was aboard last time out when it did come through to win its maiden at only the 4th time of asking. And it wasn't winning out of turn. Delaware River is hoping to get back to form number 1 at 4-1. Number 2, Miss River Dancer is at 7-1. 7-1 are numbers the 6, 7, Oh My Gucci Girl, and the 10 On a Jet Plane. It is 17-2, and better bar those quoted runners. Right, in an ideal world, supporters of yours, whom there are legions of them, would say that TKP Racing could have a bucket full of winners on Thursday.
Potentially so, and deservedly so
yes,
too.
Indeed.
Heavily invested in the game.
Yeah.
So we're having a look at Lights in the Woods' maiden victory when Muzi shot through on the inside running rail and she got the better of Empress of Peace on this occasion.
Yeah.
Now Empress of Peace runs on the card earlier in the day.
Race 3, is it?
Yeah, let's see how she's performed. But yeah, I think this filly's still learning how to race. We expected this from her. She did start deep in the red at 1-3. Do I believe she deserves to be so short in the market? No. Can I see her winning and winning convincingly? Yes. So yes, the good old Can't Catch Me. And I pulled out this replay because it covers quite a few in here behind Pearly No Crown. You've also got Kylie's Angel on the inside running roll. You've got Delaware River. You've got Omaguchi Girl, all in here. And she's a filly that, or a mare that wears a heart on her sleeve in that she's normally the hare up front. So let's hope she doesn't have to do too much from that outside barrier position to get into a prominent position, because if she does, it's going to take a toll in the latter stages. Like I said, I think this favorite's far too short in the market for my liking. So for that reason, in my perms, I played a bit against the grain of year. I included a few. Delaware River, Mr. Pettigrew's gone and put the blinkers on her. She has worn the cheek pieces in the past. Hopefully, she likes to be given a chance, this filly. But hopefully that does the trick, because you can see she's never far off. She never disgraces herself. She forms part of my play. Number 2, I know she won a work rider event, yes, but yeah, you got a 4-year-old filly that's extremely lightly raced. And I think she comes into this race of a very, very workable rating. A nice takes that 4 kilograms off her back. I know she's been a bit inconsistent, but I think she's really going to contest the finish of here. And then I've included the 2 at the bottom of the weights. Kylie's Angel. Mr. Lensley's brought her right back in trip and taken the cheek pieces off. JC Boitis with 50.5 to shoulder from Stallgate number 1. I think she could spring a bit of a surprise. And then Otter Jet Plane, St. John at the moment, he's flying. And Jason Gates, the few months that he gets, he's producing on them. So that's my exacta box. I'm playing to beat the favorite. Can I see her winning? Absolutely yes.
1, 2, 3, 9, 10, and you will recall those were the numbers for that second leg of the double, which started in the preceding race number 7. There is a generational meeting here. The 3 Light in the Woods, a 3-year-old only having a 5th outing and Can't Catch Me. A 7-year-old having a 72nd outing. Well done to Brett Weber and his connections. All right, let's round off the preview to Thursday's meeting. Looking at the next vaal race meeting, Thursday, the 3rd of September. Merit rate at 74. It's over the 1,200 meters. And we're looking at race number 9, rounding off what should be a very, very competitive afternoon. Now, we've got Elusive Red. That is at 21 to 10. And number 2, Blind Fire. Overdue that next win, 23 to 10. Number 3, Late Bloomer, 5 to 2. Number 10, King Bluetooth is at 13 to 1 and 16 to 1, and Better Bar those quoted runners. So that is race number 9, 10 to 5 is the off time at 2 that lasts off the afternoon. And Daryl, well, it's been a tough one. You really earned your corn, sir. We had the scratching of the 9. That is the Mr. Elston Zilana runner. So that leaves us a field of 9 to face up. Right, where do we begin?
So we're going to have a look at Blind Fire's latest performance when running second behind Kundla Gold. She was extremely well supported on this occasion in the market. The money came for her, race time. And unfortunately for her, as you'll see in the replay, she found herself on the wrong side of the track this day. The going was certainly favoring the inside at the vaal. And she had to move herself over towards the best ground. And she only found one to good on this occasion. She found Kundla Gold a good few lengths better than her, but a really solid performance. And she's super fit, isn't she? Yeah, you got good old Elusive Red. And I think a lot of people expected more from him on this occasion, and they've expected more from him recently. But I actually don't think he was suited by the underground conditions. I actually think he's better on a firmer track, and we had a lot of rain that week prior to this meeting. He didn't disgrace himself, but he does come back in trip. Mr. Magnus said, let's bring him back to a 1,200, and he's cracked a great draw. Craig Zaki knows him extremely well, and I was really deciding whether I'm going to bank him in all my perms, because I think he meets the perfect field to get it right. But it has been 320 days, and he has let me down on a good few occasions in the past. Do I think he's the right horse? Yes. Like I said, neat draw, right mark off a 70, back on a firmer track. We're going to be favoring number 5, Elusive Red. Then you got Late Bloomer. So Late Bloomer pulled like a dentist on debut for Tony, and she still hung on, and she hung right across the track towards the outside. So Tony's had a good few months to figure out this filly, and he's brought her back over 1200 with a plum draw. Like I've said in the past, these horses that join Tony are capable of winning a good few in a row and ending up off a much higher rating. And yes, she is off a 74. Would I be surprised despite her weak form lines going back to back? No, because I think a lot went wrong in her Highveld debut, and she still got the better of her opposition. I think Tony's really worked hard on this filly, and I'm really keen to see what she does in her return up here on the Highveld. Blind Fire, I'm not too sure if she's going to stand her ground. Let's take note of the card changes race day. But then Space Missions, a lovely inclusion for the trifecta. And look at the bottom weight. King Bluetooth, another sort who loves the classic track, 52 to shoulder. That's my trifecta boxed. If you want to go a bit firmer or a bit more aggressive, probably look at Roving Elusive Red, number 5.
You could rove the 5. Just a reminder that the 9A 15K Joe is the scratching. That leaves the field of 9. So in rounding off, the colors that could be prominent throughout the afternoon is the colors of Mr. Farah, which are on the 3 Late Bloomer, who would have seen the One American Beauty. And we're also looking at the colors of TKP Racing. Those could be quite regular features in those money boxes, if not the number 1 box. But one thing that we can look forward to is Mr. Marie featuring quite strongly on Friday. Clyde should be back in the hot seat. Thank you for welcoming me on this very wonderful set, and thanks to World Sports Betting for the support that they've given the show and what they continue to do for racing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cesc. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you so much. Right, so Clyde will be with you on Friday. We look forward to your company then, but enjoy your racing Wednesday and Thursday, PE and a vaal respectively.